The fall sports season is well underway here at the University of the District of Columbia, and Firebird Nation Sports Update is going to bring you all the sports news from the nation's capital's only public university. Today on Firebird Nation Sports Update, we'll check in with the Firebirds' head women's volleyball coach, Sheila Weaver, as well as head men's soccer coach, Matt Thompson. In the Firebird Spotlight, we'll visit with soccer student athlete and team captain, Roque Hernandez. We'll also chat with Director of Athletics Patricia Thomas and Associate Director of Athletics Patrick Knapp to talk about the opening of the new pool at the Van Ness campus, the online launch of the Booster Club Firebirds Forever, and much, much more. Stay with us on the Firebird Nation Sports Update. Hello, this is Firebird Nation Sports Update, your inside look at the University of the District of Columbia athletics. I'm your host, Matt Rienzo. Flap your wings and get ready to soar because the Firebird is rising in the nation's capital. Summer's in the rearview mirror, and school is well underway in the nation's capital. The Firebird athletic programs are right in the thick of things, so we have a lot to recap. Last week, the University of the District of Columbia announced plans to open its natatorium at the Van Ness campus and start an NCAA Division II swimming program as well. Lauren Fuchs was hired as aquatics director and head swimming coach. We'll talk later with Director of Athletics Patricia Thomas and hear all about that exciting news. The Firebirds are racking up the weekly awards in the East Coast Conference. 6 Firebirds have taken home ECC weekly awards. Hillary Muggan was named Men's Cross Country Runner of the Week. Bakary Koulibaly was named Men's Soccer Offensive Player of the Week. Omar Gonzalez was named Men's Soccer Defensive Player of the Week. Baldwin Needham was named Men's Cross Country Rookie of the Week. Vanessa Garley was named Women's Volleyball Weekly Honor Roll. And Jasmine Rogers was named Women's Volleyball Rookie of the Week. Men's soccer started off strong with a 3-0-1 record, having won the Shippensburg tournament during the opening weekend of the season. The Firebirds have dropped 4 in a row, unfortunately, and now sit at 3-4-1 and 0-2 in East Coast Conference play. Women's volleyball also sits near the 500 mark with a 5-6 record. In men's cross-country action, senior Hillary Muggan placed first out of 51 runners at the Delaware State Invitational held in Smyrna, Delaware on September 7th. Women's tennis sits at 3-2 in their quest to repeat as ECC champs as they head into the meat of the ECC schedule. Men's tennis is 1-0, but keep in mind that their main championship season is in the spring, so they have a lot of time before they get tuned up for ECC play. The athletic department and the men's soccer team hosted the second annual Soccer Youth Day event on Saturday, September 15th. Over 30 of the area's youth soccer players came to participate in the event, which included a free clinic run by the Firebird coaches and players, an autograph session, photo ops with the team and Firebird mascot, and free admission to the Firebirds game versus LIU Post. A volleyball youth day is planned for Sunday, October 21st as well. The athletic department also has plans for other community events that will benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation as well as the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation. So check out udcfirebirds.com for details in the coming weeks. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll get started with our first interviews with head coaches Sheila Weaver and Matt Thompson. So stay with us. We're now joined by University of the District of Columbia head volleyball coach Sheila Weaver and head soccer coach Matt Thompson. Coaches, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you. My pleasure.
We know you're very busy in the middle of the season, so we do appreciate you coming out. Last time you were on the show in the preseason, you hadn't really gotten going yet. Now the season started, you're about a month in, right in the thick of things. Both programs teetering around the 500 mark. Matt, let's start with you. It's the first year in the East Coast Conference for men's soccer here at the University of District of Columbia. Yep. How's the season going so far?
Yeah, not too bad. We started off very well with 3-0-1, and we've hit a kind of little blip, I guess, at the moment. We've lost 4 in a row, but the ECC, we played 2 good teams, LIU Post and Bridgeport, and we've been in both games, and I mean, that's what we can ask for. With a little bit of luck, a little bit better finishing, a little bit better defending, you know, we could win either of those games. So we're there or thereabouts.
And start out the season, you won the Shippensburg tournament, I guess. You won one game and tied it and effectively won that tournament. So that was a good start.
Yeah, for sure. Great start. And then we actually beat Mercyhurst and Shippensburg, and both were in the national tournament last season. So we've beaten two very good teams there as well. So we have the quality, we have the ability, we just need to put it together in the ECC.
Yeah, and you're playing tough in every game. You're in there in almost all of them. So the ECC games seem to be pretty tight and pretty evenly matched, the two matches that you've played thus far. So who's playing particularly well for you thus far?
Right now, I think both our central defenders are doing a pretty good job. Simon Bracke from Germany and Atunde Akum, who's adjusted to central defence. He was a midfield player before. Both those guys are playing well. Roque Hernandez in front of midfield, in front of the back four, is playing very well. And Adriel Garcia is being productive as far as scoring goals and getting some assists.
Good. Now, goalie was a bit of a question mark coming into the season. How have you addressed that, and how's that position working out for you?
Yeah, Omar's doing a fine job. We just need to make sure that he's playing with some confidence. It's tough when you give up goals. We're conceding some silly goals at the moment from long throw-ins and set pieces, which is frustrating for everybody. We work on it in training. So we're just looking for him to be positive, being concentrated for the full time, but really give our back four some confidence.
And doing a solid job thus far.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, good. Sheila, let's shift it over to you. It's your second season in the East Coast Conference. How's the season going from your perspective?
Well, the season is tough. The schools are very tough. We had a match last week with Mercy. We came out on top. That was a good step in the right direction.
Big league win.
Big league win. Fought lots of ties back and forth, a real hard battle, but we came out on top, so that brought us back with a new level of confidence. So that was, again, a great victory for us. This past week we played New York Institute. Didn't do so well, although our first match we were battling and lost with a very close.
You played them tough, despite the loss.
Very tough. And so it was a little disappointing that we weren't able to sustain that effort throughout the match.
Now you have a list of injuries already, and you did, before the season even started, you had a couple key people out. How are you dealing with that and being able to be competitive with those injuries? Seems like last year you had injuries too, and this year
it just rolled over to the second year, unfortunately. It's been a real struggle not to have a libero. Libero is a key person, defensive person, which we need right now to help us on our offense.
And you lost both of your liberos.
Lost both of them. Grace Pirelli, then we lost Sarah Stewart several days later. So they're still on the road to recovery, but in the meantime, we don't have a libero, and so we're trying to make do and just improve our overall passing game.
And you haven't had a libero the whole season because they've been out since the first game started.
Absolutely.
So that's got to be a tough adjustment.
It really is, because we were depending on that position so much.
So who have been the top performers for women's volleyball thus far?
I'd say Vanessa Garley continues to be our top performer.
She's been a mainstay for a couple of years.
She's a mainstay for years. Her leadership on the court and her blocking ability has proven itself again this year. Jasmine Rogers, a freshman, was just named Rookie of the Week last week, so she's getting the notice that she deserves and is coming on strong for us in the outside hitting position.
Good, great. Matt, let's shift it back to you. It's the first year in the ECC. We talked a little bit about that. How competitive is the conference? You know, after only having played a couple games in the conference, how much more competitive is it than your independent schedule you played a year ago?
Yeah, I think it just has that competitive edge. You know, you have something to play for. So I think it's great for the players, and they understand that these games really do count, and it means something for the end of the season. But you know, we've played 2 games so far. We've played 2 good teams, and I think both those teams will be there or thereabouts in the top 4. So we just have to make sure we stay competitive and try and pick up a couple of wins and build on that.
Is any one team in the East Coast Conference in control yet, or not really?
Right now, LIU Post, they're number 3 in the country. They're 8-0. And you know, they're the dominant team at the moment.
And you guys were right with them, you know, besides a penalty kick and then an own goal, basically. Yeah. I mean, you were right there with them.
Yeah, we played with them against 10 men. We could have tied it up with 10 against 11. But they're a strong team, and credit to them for doing so well.
What's the next big game for you? Your coaches always say the only game you want to win is the next one. Yeah. Is there another one that's circled coming up? Or?
We have a week off right now until Saturday, so I think we kind of need that break, trying to regroup, refocus, and move on. But yeah, we play Dowling on Saturday, and they're in the same position as us. They've lost a few games in a row, so it's going to be a big game. It's a big conference game. We want to get on the board in the conference. We want to get 3 points. We want to get our first ECC win, get that over and done with, and move forward from there.
It's so balanced, the conference, and so tough. So now let's switch gears a little bit. Talk about the Youth Day. You had a Youth Day last weekend. Over 30 kids came out and they did a clinic and autograph sessions. Talk about what that was like and for the players and for the coaches.
Yeah, I think it was great. I think we had about 30 to 40 kids come out, all different ages from I think the youngest one there was probably 7 or 8 years old, and we went up to JV team, I think, came in. But it was great. The players love it. They love the attention. They love signing autographs. They think they're a superstar for the day.
Yeah, for a Division II athlete, I mean, getting a chance to sign autographs is a nice thing.
No, they really enjoyed it. And I think it worked both ways. You know, when our game started, the kids stayed behind and watched the game, and it did push us on, you know, and that was a big help as well.
Certainly boosted the attendance for the day. It was a pretty good crowd at that game.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, Roque Hernandez, you mentioned earlier, is going to be on the show in a little bit. Tell us a little bit about what he offers the team and the type of leadership that he brings.
Yeah, Roque is a leader by example. You know, he works hard every training session, every game. He works hard off the field. You know, he organises the team and makes sure that things get done, both on and off the field. So he's just a character that the guys can look up to, but just can follow as well. Fantastic work ethic.
And his brother followed suit and came to the University of District of Columbia, Elio, as well. That's got to say good things that a family member is willing to come as well.
Yeah, and he's a very good player. He's doing well as well. And he has similar work rate as Roque. So, yeah, very good.
That's excellent. Sheila, let's switch it back over to you. What's the ECC postseason picture like in volleyball? Is there a tournament at the end of the season, and how does that work?
Sure, there is a postseason tournament. The top 4 teams advance to that tournament. It's going to be really hard to determine who is in that. I guess third, fourth position until the last few weeks. And it's been that way throughout. Last week, prior to our recent loss, we were tied. It was a 5-way tie for first place. So it just goes to show anything can happen any given week, and we just have to maintain. So even though it's a bit of a struggle, you're still in it. Yeah, definitely. We just have to, you know, pull it together and come out on top of some of the matches that we have coming up.
And what are your expectations for the second half of the season? What do you think is going to happen?
I think it's going to continue to be very competitive throughout the course of the season. Any team can win on any given day. I think it really depends on your determination and your heart and your willingness and wanting to win matches because of the closeness that all the teams are. So I think that's where we really have to fight and struggle to try to keep that level of determination high and pull through.
Good. Well, good luck. Coaches, that's all the time we have. Really want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule right in the middle of the season. We wish you the best of luck in the second half of the season, and thanks very much for being with us today.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
When we come back, we'll visit with soccer student athlete Roque Hernandez. We're now in the Firebird Spotlight. We're joined by soccer captain, student athlete Roque Hernandez. Roque, thanks for being with us today.
Pleasure.
Now, you're in the East Coast Conference for the first time this season, the soccer team. What's it like being in a conference? Is there more excitement with each game than previously?
There's definitely more excitement. It's been a challenge for us these first 2 games, but we stand up well. We have potential to be great in this conference, and our goal is to be at least top 4 of this conference this year, so we have to work hard. We've lost our first 2, but we have plenty more to come. Yeah,
the first 2, I mean, you were really competitive against very good teams, and so I think you'll start to get some wins soon, I think.
Yeah, both teams, they did well last year. They both made it to the tournament, and they beat notable teams this year, so we stood up well, and we just have to keep fighting, be positive.
What are your thoughts on how the season's going in general thus far?
Right now, it's been a slippery slope, but we have to pick it up. We have to fight. We know that we have a good team here. We stood up against teams that have good players. We just have to keep fighting, be positive, and bounce back from this downhill slide right now, but just have to keep fighting.
Well, I'm sure with that attitude, I'm sure you guys will bounce back and do just fine. Now let's shift to the student part of the student athlete a little bit. You're an environmental science major. What's that all about? Tell us a little bit about that.
I was undecided when I first came to the school. I was planning to be a computer science major, but it didn't work out, so I decided to move on to environmental sciences, and I was intrigued. It's a new field, it's growing. It's something that really has me interested right now.
And you're liking it,
yeah,
sounds
I'm
like.
liking it, yeah.
That's good.
I'm
And
liking
you're
it
a
lot.
junior,
I'm a junior.
student. So now how do you balance your time as a student, all that practice and game time, and a lot of travel too with the league and everything? So how do you balance all that?
You have to manage your time. You have to do work when you have free time. When you're on the bus traveling, you have to read. If you have to read, you have to work hard.
Just putting that time in on the field and in the classroom as well.
On and off.
That's great. Now, kind of a cool story. Your brother Ilio's on the team as well.
Yeah.
What's it like playing with your brother, your younger brother, and having him involved?
It's an amazing feeling, actually. I'm happy he's here. I'm happy he decided to come to the school, and he's been starting all games, and I've been next to him on the field. It's great. It's a great feeling. It's amazing.
Yeah, and both of you guys seem to be really the heart and soul of the team. You're out there, you're playing hard every day and doing a great job. So that just must be great for you and for him to have his big brother out there.
It runs in the family.
That's great. Now, the other day we talked to Coach Thompson briefly about it. You had the youth day last weekend. What was that like for you guys to be part of that? Was that fun?
It is fun. When I was growing up, I didn't have a chance to do this, and I'm so happy that these kids come out here and they have a great time with us, and it's a great feeling because I never had that chance, and now they're here. They're coming to the UDC and they see some college players. Maybe they go into their future and they want to do the same thing.
It seems like it's just as rewarding for you guys as it is for them, that you enjoy it as well, so that's great. Now, you're kind of a local product. You're from Germantown, Maryland. How do you like going to school in the nation's capital and at UDC?
It's great. It's close to home, so I get to see my parents at the games. They get to watch me play, and my brother. So, I mean, I like it. I'm happy I'm here. I want to see this program develop, and I want to be a part of it.
Well, it seems like you're doing a great job with your leadership as a captain, and Coach Thompson certainly doing a very good job as well, and the program's moving in the right direction. So we wish you the best of luck the rest of this season and the rest of your career as well. And that's unfortunately all the time that we have, but thanks very much for being with us.
No problem.
Best of luck to you.
Yeah.
When we come back, we'll visit with Director of Athletics Patricia Thomas and Associate Director of Athletics Patrick Knapp. We're now joined by Director of Athletics Patricia Thomas and Associate Director of Athletics Patrick Knapp. Patrick, Patricia, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having us back.
There's so much exciting stuff happening at the University District of Columbia, especially in athletics, over the last few years since you've arrived on campus. Recently, there's been a lot more excitement with the announcement of the opening of the natatorium, also the announcement of starting a women's swimming program in the near future, and then also the hiring of an aquatics director and head coach in Lauren Fuchs.
Yes.
Tell us about all those developments.
Again, we're very, very excited to open the natatorium that has recently undergone a significant renovation. We've expanded the pool actually to 25 yards as opposed to meters, 6 lanes, just completely enhanced the entire facility, including the locker rooms. Again, bringing on Lauren Fuchs is just a huge plus for us. Lauren was a student athlete, very successful student athlete at George Washington University. She managed their facility at Mount Vernon for a few years as well, and so we're just delighted to have her come on board and open the facility and then begin planning the intercollegiate program as well.
The pool looks awesome. I mean,
Yes.
it's beautiful. There's a lot of natural light that comes in. There's a beautiful spectator overlook area. So I think the community and the university community is going to just really be thrilled with it.
Absolutely. It's just a stunning first-class facility, and we just can't be happier with it.
That's great. Now, when does the natatorium officially open? When can people start diving in and swimming?
That's the $50,000 question. We will actually go through the inspection with the Department of Health this week and hoping to be able to open the facility early next week, actually. We will schedule a grand opening first of the week and then begin to have swimmers come in.
That's great. Now, what type of programs can the community and the university community expect to have at the pool? How can they get in, and what can they do when they're in there?
Members of the university community simply need to show a valid University of the District of Columbia ID, and that includes students and staff from the community college as well. So in addition to just general leisure and recreation programs, we will absolutely have instructional programs. We will develop a master's swimming program as well.
Excellent.
So we're just really excited to have a wide variety of experiences in aquatics.
A lot of different things for people in the community and the university to get involved and to come to campus. So
Absolutely.
It's exciting for the
Yes.
athletic department to have those people interact.
That's right.
That's great. And how can people find out more about the swim programs and about hours and all those kinds of things?
As always, checking our website, www.udcfirebirds.com, for all of your information regarding leisure and recreation as well as intercollegiate athletics.
Excellent. Now, one last question before we shift over to Patrick. Starting a swimming program, what's behind that, and what does that bring to the athletic department and to the university?
Well, it enhances our commitment to sports sponsorship by adding a program. We would ultimately like to add a men's program as well. In addition to the sports sponsorship component, certainly continues to address the university's commitment to gender equity and Title IX by beginning with the women's program as well. And so once Lauren gets the facility open and gets our programs underway, she will use the ensuing months to begin to recruit students. And we will probably start with a club program beginning with the next academic year and then build from there.
But that's exciting, having another collegiate swimming program in the nation's capital and at the University District of Columbia. That's great.
Yes, absolutely. You know, again, I think particularly following the Olympics and the success that U.S. swimming enjoyed in London, just providing, again, an opportunity for a new intercollegiate program here at the university is just an exciting opportunity.
Yeah, that's great, and best of luck with the start of all that exciting,
Thanks very much.
exciting stuff.
Appreciate it.
Patrick, let's shift it over to you. Now, you're the Associate Director of Athletics for External Affairs. You're in charge of the Booster Club, fundraising, corporate sponsorships, and many other things. Tell us about what's going on in your area of expertise.
Well, Matt, we are actively involved with our second year putting out our Booster Club, which is called Firebirds Forever. So we're actively involved in speaking to numerous alumni, friends, and family who are interested in supporting our athletic programs. So those calls and emails and discussions are ongoing, and they've been very fruitful at this point. So we're very happy about that.
And so you're spending a lot of your time reaching out to alumni and trying to get them involved. And
Absolutely, to assist our sport programs so that they can achieve at a higher level and give our student athletes the best possible academic and athletic experience here at the university.
That's great. Now, just over a year ago, the athletic department launched Firebirds Forever, which you mentioned, the Booster Club. And just a few months ago, Firebirds Forever was launched online with the capacity to deal with donations and gifts online. That's a big step forward.
It absolutely is. Obviously, everything is digital. It's more convenient for everyone. We've had numerous email blasts out there about that. We'll continue to alert our community that they can give online to Firebirds Forever. The information, again, is at the university website.
Now, one other thing that is something that you work on a lot is the Hall of Fame. And last year was the inaugural Hall of Fame event. Is there another one scheduled, and when, where, all those types of details?
Well, our committee is hard at work as we speak. We have another meeting or two coming up, but we will do the Hall of Fame induction ceremony and dinner again. We've picked a date, February 17th, 2013. It'll be a great celebration weekend, not only for our alums and for the inductees and their families, but also for our athletic programs, because we center it around a basketball doubleheader. Friday evening is the induction ceremony and the dinner, and then Saturday afternoon we have a men's-women's basketball doubleheader against Dowling University of the East Coast Conference, a very good team, so it'll be a very competitive afternoon, and we will honor again our inductees at that event. So it's a great weekend. We had about 170 people attend last year's event at Maggiano's in Chevy Chase on the DC border. And we also had about 105 people at the reception that afternoon, we look for those numbers to go up.
Well, that's exciting, and that'll be something for the alumni to get involved with again this year. One other initiative that you've been working on is season tickets for basketball. Last year was the first time that those were available to purchase an entire season ticket plan. Those are available again. Tell us a little bit about that.
We're going to start getting that online in the next few weeks. We will also have a sponsor for our ticket again. We'll roll out all those details in the coming weeks. But the basketball season ticket again will be available online, and we want everyone to look at the schedule. There'll be some great games, particularly our opening game, men's basketball, November 10th against Philadelphia of the Sciences, and then women's basketball the very next weekend has a big tournament, Division II tournament, with some ranked teams coming in.
Well, there's just so much going on in the athletic department. I wish we had more time. I know there's an alumni golf outing scheduled for the springtime, which we'll get details out to the viewers at the appropriate time. But thanks very much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know you're both very busy, and certainly it was great chatting with you today. So thanks for being with us.
Thank you. Always a
Thanks,
pleasure.
Matt.
That's all the time we have today. I'd like to thank our guests, head coaches Sheila Weaver and Matt Thompson, Firebird student athlete Roque Hernandez, as well as Director of Athletics Patricia Thomas, Associate Director of Athletics Patrick Knapp. Please don't forget to follow Firebird Athletics on the web at udcfirebirds.com, on Twitter at UDCFirebirdFans, on Facebook at UDC Athletics, and on YouTube at UDC Athletics 1. Thanks for watching the Firebird Nation Sports Update. I'm your host, Matt Rienzo. The Firebird is rising in the nation's capital, and we're glad you're along for the ride.